There's a power in desire. The length of time is something you've mastered. You're enduring, which means I have manifested it before it showed up. I have a FaceTime connection with my life. I have a FaceTime connection with the invisible. I have a FaceTime connection. Nothing is taking too long. I don't have to say when anymore. Usually, when you're not convinced of where you're going, you always say, when is it going to happen? How long do we have to go? When will we be finished? Okay, I know what you're telling me, but how long you got? How long do you have before it's done? I've been waiting a long time. So when is it going to happen? Okay, well, how long? Well, it means you don't have a relationship with your purpose. Well, when is it going to be done? Well, how long you got before you're done? Well, how long we have? Okay, but I see what you're saying, but how long do you have? Okay, so how long? Okay, you started when? We started, it's been a year. It's been 5 months. It's been 12 months. It's been 6 months now. Okay, when are we going to do it? Listen, when there is no mastery of patience, because we think patience means a long time. That's one thing we hate. We hate the word God and patience in the same sentence. Y'all know what I'm talking about? We hate to say God and patience in the same sentence. God, be patient. And you're like, oh my God. We hate to hear God and be patient. It's like, oh God. We love to hear God and suddenly, but we hate to hear God and patience in the same sentence. We hate that. We love the word suddenly. We love the word tomorrow. We love the word right now. We like to say, do it now in the name of Jesus. We like to say that. We hate the word process. We hate the word endurance. So we have to change it. There is a power in desire. Life will prove. And life is not going to attack you. Life is just going to be what it is. Life is not going to react because you have a desire. Life is not going to react and bring the desire to you today. Life is going to act like it don't hear you. And see, we feel when life acts like our desire isn't changing it. Let me put it this way. Just because we have a desire, life will not act like your desire is its emergency. Life isn't going to, oh, what we got to do? Life is not going to act like your desire is its emergency. And when life doesn't act like your desire is its emergency, we go crazy. So we feel we're not heard because life isn't responding with the same desperation that you and I have. Because life doesn't respond with the same level of desperation as you and I have. We feel that God isn't listening because we feel our desire is God's emergency. And when you feel that your desire is God's emergency and he still lives as though he didn't hear, we get attacked. We feel, wait a minute. Life will always prove your desire because life is not going to get up and do anything different because you're desperate. Life isn't going to get up any quicker. The hours are not going to move by any faster because you're desperate. Life isn't. So when you pray and say, right now, God isn't going to move right now because your desire isn't God's desperation. Did that make sense? Our desire isn't God's emergency. It's your desire. And when you endure the pace of God, when you could endure God remaining himself in the time of your desperation, you will possess what you desire before you get it because you are allowing God to rest. How many of you, before I go, because I know you got to go to service, how many of you are allowing God to live in his own time? Can you tolerate God maintaining his pace when you're desperate? Because when you can let God be God when he wants to be God, you will create what you need to create at the time you need to create it. Why? Because I'm not going to allow God to stop being God because I'm desperate. I'm not going to allow God to, I'm not going to force God to stop being God because I'm desperate. And then you got to ask yourself, why am I so desperate? What have I been doing out of place to create desperation for myself? What have I been doing to create desperation for myself? What have I been doing? There is a power in desire. Life will prove what you really want. When God can stay on his pace and you quit, you didn't really want what you said. How much do you want what you say? Because me telling you not to quit isn't going to always work. I could tell you don't quit, but when you've run out of steam, you've run out of steam. And so you got to ask yourself, why did you run out of steam? I could tell every one of you, don't quit, and you'll find a way to quit. Have anybody ever told you not to quit? But the more you kept playing it in your head, you quit anyway. You quit in a way where it didn't look like you were giving up. But I'm going to quit, but I want to quit in a way where it won't look like I'm giving up. How many of you know what I'm talking about? I'm going to quit. You've already decided to quit. When you've already decided to quit, whenever something comes up, you'll use that as a catalyst. That's why I'm quitting. You know, sometimes we create issues. Sometimes we create issues. Sometimes our desire to quit when we no longer have endurance will create a drama for us to blame it on. I'm going to tell you how uncanny and how witty the spirit of quitting is. The spirit of quitting is so cool that it will create a funk so you could blame the quitting on it so you could keep your ego. Isn't that amazing? The spirit of quitting is so inventive. It will create a funk so you could blame the need to quit on so you can keep your dignity. Procrastination and excuses are a dangerous weapon when you need them to be. When you're ready to give up, it'll give you a reason so nobody else can blame you because he knows that you want to maintain your dignity. Isn't that something? Isn't that amazing? Yeah. How powerful is your desire, guys? How powerful is your desire? How much can you endure? So before I go, how many of you feel right now that you have the endurance of God? Because God's been waiting on plenty of us to awaken. And he hasn't stopped being God because you haven't. He hasn't stopped being the master because you haven't. Our carnality has not forced God or inspired God to stop being God. Our lack of belief hasn't hindered God in being God. God is still God regardless. So how many of you have matched that intensity? There is a power in desire. How bad do you really want what you said? How bad do you really want what you said? Will you still desire even though God isn't making your desire his emergency? Can you still wait for the miraculous of the Spirit, even when the miraculous has not made your desperation its emergency? Do you feel that God is still hearing you and that God is still saying yes to you, even when he doesn't react like it's an emergency? Do you still feel that you're heard, even though God isn't acting like your desperation is his emergency? Do you still feel that it's good? Do you still feel that it's all right? There is a power in desire, and life will prove yours. Life will always prove it. So once again, I could say don't quit. But that's up to you. Because once you run out of endurance, you're going to quit. And those of you who don't quit, you are mastering it in every moment. So keep mastering it. I'm just encouraging you. Keep mastering it. Keep mastering it. You heard. God just won't react like he's crazy too. Your light bills and my light bills and mortgages and notes don't move God to like, man, I got to pay this. You know, God will always say, you're a genius. Think of something. Hey, so that's something. Can you allow God to say, you're a genius? You have my spirit. You have my nature. Think of something. Whenever there's desperation in our lives and the need of miracles, can God say to your soul, think of something and fix it? Can God say, think of something and fix it? Couldn't it be that the answer to most of our